Hello everybody and welcome to PESA Presents. Today we're going to be looking at Isotelus, a famous trilobite genus. Not only that, but they're known for very big trilobites that fascinated an entire state, namely the state of Ohio, for Isotelus is the official invertebrate fossil of the state of Ohio. And we owe that marvelous event to two wonderful ladies, the late Doris Swabb and Ginger Evers. And so the subsequent procedure and shenanigans are hereby dedicated to them. Now, what is a trilobite? Now, a trilobite is an arthropod, so basically they're distant relatives of today's horseshoe crabs. There are over 20,000 species of trilobite. They are all sadly extinct, though, however, and arguably they're one of the most dominant fauna in history, having ranged from the Cambrian 521 million years ago all the way up to the major extinction event at the end of the Permian 252 million years ago. So that's quite a lot of time for just one group. Now, the word trilobite means just that, three lobes. That's a reference to the three major body parts of the trilobite, or the three major segments, you'll probably see some people call them. So the middle portion is the axial lobe. Its own right-hand side is referred to the right pleural lobe, and then the left pleural lobe is the one on, obviously, the left side. Now, those just aren't the major body portions of the trilobite. You'll see a couple other terms as well that are important. The cephalon is basically what is termed as its head. The thorax is its middle portion, its midsection, and the pygidium is, well, for lack of a better word, its tail. Now, also, too, you'll see facial sutures, or sort of the cracks in the face of a trilobite. It's where the various portions of its face actually come together and join. Also, too, glabella is the central portion of the head that's right there. And trilobites have eyes. They have very, very interesting, some of them quite compound eyes as well. And also, too, you may notice in some portions, trilobites having basically spines coming off the side of the pygidium as well. Those are known as genal spines. Now, 20% of trilobites are from the order Asaphida, and that is where their cephalon and pygidium are roughly the same size, is pretty much the major classification characteristic of them. Now, as our friend down there says, that's important for later. So now here we go. First of all, that is actually not a photograph, that's a painting. So major props to DeWint, Clint, and Boutel for that. But that is a painting of Trenton Falls, which is near Utica, New York. So at Trenton Falls Gorge in New York, this fellow named John Sherman found a brand new species of fossil in the 1800s. It was named Isotelus, which means equal end, and it became the first of an entire genus with a type specimen described in 1824. There are at least 12, up to maybe 27 or 28 species of Isotelus altogether in the entire genus. Now, here is just one of the several, Isotelus brachycephalus right there. And just look how thin that is. That's amazing that that's an actual living organism. Now, this one you can't mistake for being small. So in 1999, this is the biggest trilobite currently on Earth that we know of, that we have in fossil form. So these four gentlemen were excavating for Manitoba up in Canada, and they found this fellow right here, Isotelus rex, rex meaning king. And of course, even in the Ordovician, it was good to be the king. And in this case, it's 28 inches long, 16-inch maximum width, and roughly 3 inches thick for the Isotelus rex specimen. Now, Isotelus maximus was discovered by John Locke in 1838. And that isn't the actual Isotelus maximus, the primary specimen, or what's called the Huffman Dam specimen. That was just one in public access that I could get a photo of. So the very, very first one that was discovered by Locke was a partial specimen, and sadly he's not given credit for that a lot nowadays. It was only a pygidium, and he was kind of Yeah, he kind of got shafted in terms of paleontological history for not having found it. But then in 1919, they were actually excavating around the Huffman Dam, and the specimen came up. It came into the hands of one August F. Forst, and he realized, hey, this is another Isotelus maximus, and we were, well, another of what was found by Locke earlier. And so they were able to get the species officially underway more so and better classified. Now, the actual Huffman Dam specimen, which is definitely the most famous one of Maximus, is 14 and a half inches long, 10 inches wide, and it'll be linked down below. But there is actually a nice article from the Cincinnati Museum on how Isotelus came to be Ohio state fossil. This is the Huffman Dam. It is not open to the public, so do not go digging there, please. Now, Maximus altogether is from less than a millimeter to 24 inches long. It's often so big it's usually found in pieces. Now, enrolled, it can be as small as a pebble. Now, remember those genal spines? There they are, right there. You can kind of see them sticking out of the side. They go all the way past the pygidium. That's something that's very characteristic of Isotelus maximus because genal spines, if present, are very long. So here you have the Boonshoft Museum of Discovery. Now, this is where the two ladies from the beginning came in. So the first one was a third grade teacher, and then the second one was a fourth grade teacher. They brought their classes to here, and the classes were absolutely fascinated with the Huffman Dam specimen, which was on display here. And they're just thinking, wow, this would be great if we could make Isotelus Ohio's official state fossil. And then, all the subsequent procedures and paperwork went ahead. And so the two ladies went with two representatives, the Ohio House of Representatives, Corbin and Hickey. They teamed up also with Senator Charles Horn in the Ohio Senate, Diana Morse from the Dayton Museum of Natural History, and oops, okay, there's somebody showing his approval right there. Not an Isotelus, but still one of their friends. Now, Isotelus had a very rocky path to being Ohio's state fossil. Part of it is kind of like the ongoing issues that Pennsylvania has had with an official mineral, where people are kind of, I'll just say it, a bit cranky when you go to enact legislation about a fossil or a mineral. It's just the old usual, well, why are we wasting our time? We don't need this. And they just poo-pooed it a lot, like a lot. Now, a couple of people, too, that did respect the idea didn't think that Isotelus was impressive enough because, contrary to what kind of like popular urban myth, popular for paleontology, Isotelus maximus is not Ohio's official state fossil, where the kids did base their initial paperwork and their initial pathway to getting Ohio recognized for it. They actually just overall at the end, it is the Isotelus genus. It's not just Isotelus maximus itself. So a couple folks were like, well, Isotelus is just a genus. It doesn't look very impressive to me. And the main candidate that it had for battling for the official state fossil, it's now the official fossil fish. It's actually Dunkleosteus, that fellow right there, was its main sort of rival for it. But of course, they both went out at the end, which is great. And there's an article on the official procedures for Isotelus and Dunkleosteus, all included down below. Now, so in June the 20th of 1985, Governor Richard Celeste signs House Bill 145, which did finally officially name the Isotelus genus as the state fossil of Ohio. So thank you very much for following us on this journey here. Thank you all to the teachers around the world for inspiring their kids to do wonderful things like that, like these great ladies that just kept up the good fight, and now we have Isotelus forever enshrined for them. So thank you then. Bye.